From laughter to lessons. How a joke shook our home. When Alex and I bought our first home together, it felt like the beginning of a new chapter. Nestled in a picturesque cul-de-sac, the house had everything we could ask for: cozy interiors, a spacious yard, and neighbors who waved at us during our first walk around the block. It was perfect. Alex was particularly excited about hosting a housewarming party. Ever the extrovert, he loved bringing people together, and his passion for cooking meant he took any excuse to experiment in the kitchen. "This will be our grand introduction," he said one evening, flipping through his collection of gourmet recipes. "I'm thinking cassoulet as the centerpiece, maybe some coq au vin on the side." "Sounds fancy," I teased. "Just don't set the oven on fire again." He laughed, though I noticed a slight pause before he turned back to his cookbook. Alex's culinary adventures were a mix of triumphs and disasters. When he succeeded, his dishes could rival those of any upscale restaurant. But when he failed, the results could be memorable, to put it kindly. Our friends and family knew this, and teasing him about it had become something of a tradition. The day of the party arrived, and Alex transformed our kitchen into a battlefield of pots, pans, and exotic ingredients. The smell of fresh herbs and sizzling butter filled the house. Meanwhile, I focused on decorating and making sure everything looked perfect. By the time the first guests arrived, the table was laden with dishes that looked like they belonged in a food magazine. Neighbors filed in, complimenting everything: the house, the decor, and especially the food. Alex beamed with pride as he explained each dish, his enthusiasm infectious. But then came the moment that changed everything. Our neighbor Greg, an older man with a hearty appetite, took a bite of the cassoulet and said, "Well, this is different." The room fell silent. Alex's eyes darted toward Greg, his smile faltering. Before he could respond, I jumped in with a laugh. "Oh, don't worry. Alex's cooking always has a way of surprising people, like the time he accidentally made soup with cinnamon instead of pepper." The room erupted into laughter, and Alex chuckled along, but his smile didn't quite reach his eyes. The rest of the evening went smoothly, or so I thought. Alex was the perfect host, chatting and laughing with our guests. But once the last neighbor left, his mood shifted. "Great party," I said, wrapping my arms around him. "Yeah," he replied flatly, gently pulling away to clear the table. "Hey, are you okay?" I asked. "Fine," he muttered, his focus on stacking plates. I decided to let it go, assuming he was just tired. But the next morning, I woke up to find him sitting at the dining table, staring at his laptop. "Morning," I said, yawning. "What are you doing?" "Looking at real estate," he said without looking up. I laughed, thinking he was joking. "Already planning our next move? We just got here." "I'm serious," he said, his tone sharper than I expected. "What?" I froze. "Why?" He looked up at me, his expression a mix of frustration and hurt. "Because I'm tired of being the punchline. If my cooking is such a joke, maybe we need a fresh start somewhere else." His words hit me like a ton of bricks. "Alex, come on," I said, trying to lighten the mood. "It was just a joke. You know I didn't mean anything by it." He closed his laptop and stood up. "Do you even realize how often you do this? Every time I try something new, you make some snarky comment. It's not funny, Claire. It's exhausting." I stood there, stunned. Had I really been that dismissive? Over the next few days, Alex kept his distance. He spent hours in the garage or on his computer, barely speaking to me. I tried apologizing, but he brushed me off with curt responses. One evening, I found him on the phone with a realtor. "Alex, are you seriously listing the house?" I asked, my voice trembling. "I don't know yet," he said, avoiding my gaze. "But something needs to change." That was the wake-up call I needed. I realized that my constant teasing, what I thought was harmless banter, had been chipping away at his confidence. Alex poured his heart into cooking, and I had trivialized it without even realizing. Determined to make things right, I decided to show him how much I valued his passion. I secretly signed up for a cooking class at a local community center. For 2 weeks, I practiced every evening after work, often burning dinner in the process. But I kept at it, determined to surprise Alex with a meal that would show him how much I cared. Finally, the big day arrived. I set the dining table with candles and his favorite wine. The smell of chicken marsala, a dish he had perfected, wafted through the house. When Alex walked in, he froze. "You cooked?" he asked, his eyes wide. "I did," I said, smiling nervously. "I wanted to show you how much I appreciate your cooking and you. I'm sorry for all the times I made you feel like it wasn't enough." He sat down and took a bite, his expression unreadable. After a long pause, he looked up at me and said, "It's good." "Good?" I asked, my heart sinking. He grinned. "Really good." Relief washed over me, and we both started laughing. The tension that had hung between us for weeks finally lifted. As we cleared the table together, Alex admitted, "I never actually planned to sell the house. I just needed you to understand how much it hurt." "And I do," I said, squeezing his hand. "I promise to be more thoughtful from now on." From that day forward, our home became a place of understanding and mutual respect. Alex continued to experiment in the kitchen, and I became his biggest cheerleader. As for the house, it stayed right where it was, filled with the aromas of Alex's cooking and the laughter of a couple who had learned to appreciate each other a little more deeply. What started as a lighthearted joke at a neighborhood party turned into a whirlwind of misunderstandings, hurt feelings, and an unexpected lesson in love and appreciation. When Claire's teasing about her husband Alex's cooking pushed him to the brink of selling their home, she realized the importance of his passion and the impact of her words. Join them on a journey of self-reflection, heartfelt apologies, and the rekindling of their bond as they learn the true meaning of support and partnership.